all the subcontractors have their own timelines, and when they work collaboratively with the main EPC contractor, the work timelines can be achievable in a timely manner. So in this process, we can evaluate the supplier in different manners so that we can understand whether or not the supplier is technically suitable for the EPC contract or not. So it is a responsibility of the commercial department or the relevant procurement department or supply chain department that they should ask the user that what kind of doors they require.
Hello and welcome to Construction Project Management Podcast Series. This is episode 3. In this podcast episode, we are going to talk about Construction Subcontracts Management. And for this topic, we have with us Mr. Shamir Malik. He has done graduation in MBA Marketing and Management. He is a supply chain and commercial management professional with experience in supply chain and commercial management in various sectors such as construction, energy, and manufacturing. He has worked with various organizations, including Power China, Zultech, Doosan Inability in Pakistan, and Saudi Arabia. He is a certified supply chain management professional as well. So, thank you, sir. Thank you for giving us time for this episode.
Thank you, Hassan, for your brief introduction, and thank you for calling me out for this valuable topic.
So, as our today's topic is construction subcontracts management, the reason behind this topic is we have been observing in our construction industry that various construction projects of building, infrastructure, energy, and utilities. In all these sorts of projects, we are seeing shift of main contractors from performing their work themselves to entrusting the work to specialty contractors. And we are seeing this trend in not only the large construction infrastructure works, but also in mid-sized projects and sometimes small-sized projects as well. And one of the reasons
Mhm.
is probably the involvement of a spatial work, which hinders the contractor to carry on work by itself. If we take an example of construction of a shopping mall, we can take a lot of different work packages. So, for example, installation of elevators, the whole construction, the construction of gray structure, the finishing works, the glass work, the tiling work, the electrical, plumbing, HVAC works. Also, all of these works are specialized works. So not all of the contractors in the market are having all of these resources and technicalities to carry out all of these works by themselves. That's why they hire subcontractors, especially the subcontractors. And I was reading in some studies where the researchers were telling that almost 90% of work contracts today are shifted to specialty contractors. So we are going to talk about how we can split the scope of work from main contractors level to subcontractors, how we can avoid different obligations to subcontractors, how we can administer those contracts, how we can select those contractors and avoid those work packages to contractors. So, sir, can you please help us understand why there's been shift of by subcontractors to move to award more works to subcontractors instead of performing it by themselves?
Right. This is a critical topic, and definitely in nowadays, not each and every EPC contractor have all the expertise to perform all the works by themselves. So that is why now the subcontracting element is more encouraged in the market. So first of all, we need to understand that why it is needed. The main thing, as you told us, that not all the contractors Not all the contractors have all the expertise, definitely. So the main EPC contractor used to use subcontractors to reduce their cost, to maintain their works effectively and efficiently, so that they can reduce their burdens in a effective manner, so that they can have cost benefits. Then they are having the quality advantages, and they can establish a robust change in the variation of the management. So in order to maintain an effective contract management, or to contract manage the main contract management, we need the subcontractors to support our main contracts. Okay, so it helps projects to achieve their timelines in a timely manner, because all the subcontractors have their own timelines, and when they work collaboratively with the main EPC contractor, the work timelines can be achievable in a timely manner. So this is what the main agenda behind this, to engage the subcontractors. Now, what are the main reasons that we can look after while subcontracting a subcontractor, subcontracting, and to avoid the major risks, some of the elements which need to be identified, and some of the elements which we need to analyze before subcontracting any work to the subcontractor or a potential subcontractor. First of all, think the right subcontractor. Like for example, if there is a subcontractor we are choosing for suppose for aluminum works, but the company is not that much capable, or they are not having stable financial situations. So definitely the subcontractor is going to make you hurdles in your subcontracts, or they are going to trouble you in future. So the risk allocation is the key priority. So while choosing a subcontractor, or to avoid subcontracts some works, you need to understand where your subcontractor is standing in the market. So we must choose a proper subcontractor, which should be having the proper uh, their scope of they need to understand the proper scope of work. They should be having the proper expertise in that works, and they must be having the financial stability. So these three are the main key elements while assessing a subcontractor. Moving forward, specialized expertise. Like as I said before, that while choosing a subcontractor, it is mandatory to look after that the subcontractor should be having their own specialized in the thing like what we are going to subcontract to them. Like giving the example of a aluminum works scope, if the subcontractor is not having that much specialties, so definitely they are going, or the subcontractors personals don't have that much expertise in that work. So definitely they are going to have some problems in the future after taking the subcontract. Then the cost efficiency, definitely if our contractor is going to subcontract limited scope of work with the a subcontractor, and they are sharing the burdens. So the main EPC contractor is looking after for the cost effectiveness also. So for that, definitely there is a process of identifying the potential vendors, floating the RFQs, and then they are going to get the potential bids. And after they getting the potential bids, you are going to analyze that which contractor is more cost efficient while taking the other risks matters. Like it might be possible that one of the subcontractor is looking very cheap, but they do not have the like that much expertise. So it is not good to get hire that one or to award this contract to them. Then
Okay,
schedule management.
okay,
Schedule management is one of the like also main part that we need to understand that while choosing a subcontractor, we need to understand and we need to identify that the subcontractor is capable, that they can follow our schedule lines, not on their own. Because in the main EPC contract, we have certain timelines. So it will be better to maintain a schedule management, a better schedule management, or what we can say, the timeline before the timeline, so that we can reduce our workload and we can achieve our things before the timeline with the help of those subcontractors. So I believe these are the main key elements while choosing a subcontractor so that we can achieve our like main EPC goal in a timely manner.
okay. So, sir, you mentioned two things. One is technical expertise of subcontractor, and second is the financial condition. So, the financial capability we can check
Mhm.
through financial statements and audit reports, but how can we check the technical expertise of subcontractor, whether he has done some similar sort of work in past or not?
Yes, this is also a very good question. Like you can like check it out the financial statements and you can check it out its like financial obligations by like viewing their documents and all the things. But yes, the technical aspect is a more critical one. So there is a process of supply development management. So in this process, we can evaluate the supplier in different manners so that we can understand whether or not the supplier is technically suitable for the like EPC contract or not. In that process, like the supply development process contains like we can visit the supplier premises, we can meet supply team, and we can evaluate their working conditions or their like workspace so that we can evaluate in a better manner that what kind of machineries they got, what kind of like stock they got, what kind of personals or technical representatives they have in their company who can support us. If we visit a company who is not having that much personals running with a very limited scope of work and very limited raw materials, so definitely that is not suitable for us. So these are the main criteria. So if we involve a contractor who is like not capable enough and we do not do the like proper supply development process, so it can be a like big trouble in the future of like EPC contract because while awarding a contract and after awarding a contract, if these things are going to be highlighted, so that will be a big trouble for us.
Okay, so main contractor should do their homework first before selecting a subcontractor, mainly to check on site or by visiting their factory or offices to check whether they are also they have such capability to do such sort of work before selecting them.
Yes, it is mandatory. I believe it is mandatory because why choosing a new subcontractor, it is mandatory. When you have a certain subcontractor who is working with you from a long time or have done some contracts with you, so you have a trust on him. But while choosing a new subcontractor, you must do a proper supply development process so that you can understand that whether or not that subcontractor is capable enough to work with you or not, or can meet your timelines or not. So this is like recommended. Let me give you an example here in one of my previous companies that while choosing a subcontractor, we used to go to visit like every vendor premises We used to meet with the like their people. We used to like visit their warehouses, check their like their models, what they are working on it, and we also used to check their materials, what they are like bringing. Even we also identify their third party contractors as well. Like for example, what kind of logistics suppliers they are using right now. So that can give you an idea that if your raw materials are coming from like an external sources, so their logistics partners are capable enough that they can bring the materials in a timely manner or not. So the supply development process is a critical process in which we are going to like evaluate the supply, not even the supplier, but the supply suppliers as well, so that our project timeline should be met in a timely manner.
Okay. So once the contractor has done all of these checks, now is the time to draft a request for proposal. That's a general practice in our industry. So what are the basic inclusions we need to consider to draft an RFP? If you can namely three or maybe four.
Like RFP is a like request for proposal in the market, like what kind of product we need. First of all, the description of the item should be like clarified in an explicit way. Like for example, if a user can give you requisition for the like doors, so it is a responsibility of the commercial department or the relevant procurement department or supply chain department that they should ask the user that what kind of doors they require,
Okay.
whether it is a like wooden door, steel doors, waterproof doors, fireproof doors, what kind of doors they require. The second main thing is like the quantity. If a requisition is just written like we need the doors, how much quantity they need, then their utilization, that where those doors are going to be utilized, what are the doors utilities, and then the timeline, in how much timeline, in how much time they do require those doors. So this is just a classical example that how a perfect RFP should be like. There are only four elements, like as you said, the main description, quantity, quality, and the timeline of the like lead time of the delivery. Lead time of the delivery, that what time they required the dose or the required item in the factory or on the project.
Okay.
On those basis, you can like float the RFQs in the market or RFPs in the market, and you can obtain the proposals from the like potential vendors or like subcontractors, and by gathering them, you can identify the best one as per the criteria.
Okay. So for the contractors who have a lot of experience in the market and they have a list of pre-qualified subcontractors who have worked with them in the past. So they have all sort of data of the subcontractors and the vendors, and they also know that who is rightly capable to manage all of these works. But for a new contractor who is going to, for example, procure aluminum, he is new to the market, for example, how is he going to float the request for proposal, RFPs, and these proposals to subcontractors? Would he be doing that via email, or is there any website if we are talking about Pakistan, or if there's any other channel?
Like, see, if a person is a new in the market and he is going to float something like for the first time in the market to obtain the proposals, so it is the best way to communicate with his own team. Like there is a concept of CFT in the organization, the cross-functional teams. In the cross-functional teams, there are like persons from the different departments who raise the like requisitions, and the main purpose of the like supply chain guy is that they should be like understanding that what kind of product is requested for. So what we can have is like cross-functional meetings within the organization to understand that what kind of product is required by the user, because this is the first thing when a purchaser or a supply chain guy or a commercial guy knows that what the product is required by the user, then then they can float the they can float the RFPs in an effective manner in the market. Because see, in the market there are multiple type of vendors who are ready to like give you the like wrong products.
Okay.
So when while you don't have any information about your own product, what you require, so definitely they are going to give you the wrong product. Like giving the example of like we can see like sanitary pipes. There are multiple type of pipes. So one of the things is like what is the utilization? If you got a requisition, for example, if you got a requisition from the like your company that we require the like pipe for the sanitary purpose or like for the like water utilization. So first of all, there is a size of the pipe, like what diameter of the pipe is required. Then there is a schedule, what is the like thickness of the pipe. Then there is a type of the pipe, whether the pipe is required for the cool water or warm water. Then the utilization is done. Then what is the surface where the pipe is going to be placed. These all things matters before the purchasing of any product. So these things can be best communicated by your own department who require those parts or those items. So first of all, you need to understand what your user requirement is and how it is going to be utilized in your organization. Only then you can place the proper RFP in the market.
Okay. Okay. So for large-sized construction projects, there are a lot of subcontractors who are going to involve in our project because there are a lot of different work packages. For instance, as I mentioned earlier, the construction of a shopping mall complex, where we need to have a different subcontractor for installing elevators. We need to have subcontractors for HVAC, for plumbing work, for electrical works. So there is a lot of different split up of scope of work into different subcontractors. So there's a risk of leaving gaps between all of these subcontracts. This risk is basically a huge burden on main contractor or an EPC contractor who is awarding all of these works to subcontractors. So how to identify these gaps and how to minimize it and how to carry forward this risk to subcontractors.
Okay, so like we have mentioned that in order to choose the like right subcontractor or right product, we need to understand that what we require initially or what our user required initially. So after having cross-functional meetings within the organization, we need to identify the proper and right subcontractor or a vendor to choose the products while floating the RFPs. And after identifying the proper subcontractor while awarding a contract or subcontract to them, the best way to ensure our risk is a like back-to-back policy. Like we are a main contractor of a project and having a lot of things in a project, like as you said earlier, like the elevators, like the power plants, like the generators and all the things. But all the things are having some certain clauses which are having back-to-back policies. Like we can implement the back-to-back policies. Like for example, if we are awarding generators to a subcontractor, so subcontractor generator systems, so there will be a certain timeline over there. So for the generator subcontract model, we can identify to the subcontractor that these are the timelines. Before those timelines, you have to produce the generators on site. Similarly, if we are buying some elevators or some like HRSD systems, so in our main contract, the client has given us certain timelines. So while choosing a subcontractor or awarding a contract to them, we can identify those timelines on back-to-back basis so that our risk should be covered. Similarly, if a subcontract is not managing those timelines, we can also identify the LDs of the main contract and reflect them same into the like subcontract model. In this way, we can also cover our like LDs clauses as well. Because from the main contract, we are going to face liquidated damages claims from our main client. And since we have subcontracted the model to the like vendors or subcontractors, we are not going to like share their burdens as well. So we what we are doing is like we are shifting our burden to the subcontractor as well. So if the subcontractor fails to perform its works on in a timely manner, so what we can do is like we can share our burden to them and we can identify the LDs and we can recover the LDs from the subcontractors. So in this way, our main contractor can reduce their risk in an efficient manner.
Okay. So as you mentioned earlier that main contractor needs to do all of his assignment, means to check the contractor's technical capability by visiting his warehouses, his factory and offices, and to check whether he has potential capability to execute these sort of works. So after awarding the subcontract to that subcontractor, who uh, we have now trust in him and we know that he is going to execute the work well. How important do you think is the open communication with that subcontractor prior to start of work or prior to mobilization when we are arranging kickoff meeting with that subcontractor? How important is open communication between the subcontractor and the main contractor is for you?
Like what kind of open communication are you mentioning? Like if it is like for the like technicalities or like for the like development of the product or like the delivery of the product, what kind of open communication you are mentioning over here?
For example, when we are prior to mobilization, we are having some sort of meetings to discuss when we are going to mobilize their subcontractor, what would be the potential timeline, what would be the schedule, where would he be able to store all of his resources on site. So all of these points need to be communicated between the parties before execution of work in order to uh, avoid potential claims or disputes. For example, if we take an example of a construction of a building where we have hired a subcontractor for installation of elevators, let's say, and his as per the contract we have signed with him, his work is going to start, let's say, on January 1st. Okay. So we need him on
Mhm.
site prior to January 1st, obviously, because he need to uh, get accustomed to the site, get to know where his storage, how can he get access to the site, how can he store the materials, and how can he from storage or warehouses, how can he how is he going to install all of those materials? So basically, he needs to get accustomed to site, to know very well the site, the site boundaries, and all of these the works that are executing on the site. So we need
I
to uh, well inform him before the before mobilization, before issuing mobilization notice to him, in order to avoid potential claims.
well, Hassan, I believe these items should be covered in a subcontract because while awarding a subcontract, see, you have identified a vendor, a potential vendor or a subcontractor, and you have visited their premises, you have met with their personals, you have understand that they are financially stabilized and they are going to support us in an effective manner. And now it is a time of like awarding the subcontract. While awarding a subcontract, definitely we are going to represent the same terms which we are having in the main EPC contract from the client. We are going to execute a subcontract. And while awarding a subcontract, in that subcontract, we are going to represent back to the same terms and condition on back-to-back basis to the subcontractor. So the terms which we have agreed with the main client, we are now going to like execute those terms with the like subcontractor. So in that manner, the subcontractor is also familiarized with all the terms what we are going through. So I believe these terms should be like identified in the like subcontract, and while signing the subcontract, we should give them the examples and we can give them a feel that these are the terms which you are going to be signed. Because one of the term is in the subcontract is like, or a main contract is like that the vendor or a contractor or a subcontractor has familiarized themselves with the like site conditions. For example, it is a like remote site. So we are going to mention in the contract that the subcontractor has familiarized himself with the site conditions as well. So it is a necessary part because it might be happening in the market like you have identified a very potential vendor who is financially stable, who has very good resources, and they have signed the contract with you. But when they are going to the site for the works and he saw the site conditions, so he must be back off from his contract that sorry, I cannot work over there because of the site condition. So
Obviously.
it is also like important to identify them that what are the site conditions and where they are going to work for. Like it happened in the past also that some of the subcontractors have worked with us. They have signed the contract. They went for the working in the remote locations, and after going to the sites, they have like just back out from the contract and they only say sorry, to us that sorry for the due to the certain site conditions, they cannot work over there.
Okay.
So these things should be identified prior to the signing of the subcontract model, so that they can understand that what works they are going to execute it.
Okay, nice, got it. Now, once the subcontractor has mobilized on site, now it is time to administer his works. So, ho- can you please name some points? What what should uh, what should be the administration of subcontractors' workmanship and progress will look like? Do we need to check on his quality, on his workmanship, the way he is performing work with safety and all the applicable laws as per the contract? So, what do we need to measure the subcontractor workmanship?
Like see in the contracts, like for large scale projects, for the large scale projects, definitely there are employee representatives on the site, there are contractor representatives on the site. So definitely they are going to have a check and balance on the subcontractors' works as well. The main checklist, what we can say is like the lead times, the delivery schedules, the quality of the materials, and the capabilities of their representatives, the persons or the technical representatives of the like subcontractors. Like for example, if there we awarded a contract of like placing some like vehicle works, like we can say the like if there is a like transportation subcontract, and we have given a ABC company a contract that they are going to provide us some vehicles on the site. Now the drivers are not capable enough to handle the vehicles in a like dirty surfaces or like on the like witty surfaces. So that is more dangerous on site because it can hurdle us and it can give like it can be a potential challenge for us for the safety for our representative because our driver is carrying our representatives as well. So these things can be identified on the site while sending our subcontractor to the site, and we can have their checklist that the drivers of the vehicles are capable enough to drive on those kind of like rough surfaces or not, or their vehicles are up to the mark to work on those conditions or not. So these things are going to be like checked over there. So the main things, or you can say a checklist over there is like the quality, then their capability of the like worksman, and their lead times of the product.
Okay, nice. So before work completion, there's a period of defects liability period where we check, where we have warranties, and we need to check whether the material installed or the workmanship done by the subcontractor is as per the specifications, working or in front of a functional condition. So this is the period where there is a lot of risk on main contractor, because the subcontractor has completed the work and majority of its his resources are demobilized from the site. So can you please tell us about the techniques to handle punch lists and all the DLP period works? How to handle those works?
Like see, the best way to like check the things while closing a contract is to have a like checking all the works have done by the subcontractor with the main contractor and the client as well. Because while choosing a subcontractor, we are going to identify those subcontractors to the client as well. So the client knows that who are the subcontractor or what kind of the subcontractors are working under the main EPC contractor on the site. So for example, if a subcontractor has completed his work and they are asking for the demobilization from the site, so what we can do, the best way is like we can have the like employees representative with us, with a contractor representative and subcontractor representative to check out all the works for them the subcontractor have done. And if they are having some liabilities or our employees identified that these works have not been done yet, so what we can do, we can give the works to the subcontractors that these things have not been done, which the client has identified or the employer representative has been identified. So we can give them, we cannot ask them to demobilize at once because the contractor will be there, the subcontractor will be there, and we can have the surety to complete those works on time. When our subcontractor is demobilized from the site, so then it will be a difficult situation to get them back on the site in the end. And those are the risks which are going to be carried forward for the like main EPC contractor because the subcontract is under the EPC contractor, the main EPC contractor, and those risks are with them. So the best way is like if a subcontractor is asking that its work is completed, has been completed, so we can have a quick round check and we can have a checklist along with the like main employer to identify the subcontractor, so to identify the subcontractor works have been done or not. Coming back to the like if the risks are there, the subcontractor has been mobilized, the subcontractor is demobilized himself from the site, and the works are now uncompleted due to some reason, or those works have been not previously identified. So definitely those burdens are going to be bear by the main contractor. But the effective way to manage them is to identify a clause in the in the subcontract that there will be a certain warranty period from the subcontractor as well. So when we are going to have some a good term in the like subcontract that warranties have been covered, so we can cover those works under the warranty works by the subcontractor. If there are some punch lists, so the punch lists are the like minor works which are going to be done by the like main contractor, or we can also shift those punch lists to the subcontractor as well. So it all depends upon the like effective contract management. While like as we discussed earlier that while drafting our subcontract, we need to reflect those terms very effectively in the subcontract model so that the risk of a main contractor should be reduced as much as possible. In this
Okay.
way, we can reduce our risk in the best manner. Otherwise, if the contract will be not drafted properly and the things are going to be happen in the very last moment, so definitely all the burdens are going to be coming back to the main EPC contractor. So the effective contract management or drafting a proper contract is very essential.
Okay. Obviously, the effective drafting of contract subcontract is very critical for effective subcontract management. That's around 30-minute mark, sir. Thank you for sharing your valuable insights on subcontracts management. Your experience and practical perspectives on subcontractor selection, then the contract drafting, the contract administration, and throughout the subcontractor period is valuable. And I truly appreciate your time and contribution to this podcast. And I hope to have you with us again in the future. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Hassan, for calling me, and thank you for your valuable time. Thank you so much.